tell you that this is my first lecture ever in my life. I want to start with a game called Sound Shapes. Yeah. This game is published in 2013, and it's side-scrolling platformer with a musical focus. As you can see, it's a nice combination of music, sound effects, and animation. All of those are nicely synced, and the music by Beck is very powerful on my taste. Okay, it's quite a long video. So, more recently, indie developers in particular have been taken with an idea of using adaptive music to generate soundscapes dramatically. Titles like Proteus and Legend of Dungeon produce shifting soundtracks that reacts to the in-game action, creating new and unique music every time. Here is another example. This game is called Proteus. It's a world exploration video game developed by Ed Key and David Kaniga for very a big number of platforms. The game is based around adventuring and discovering an island with no specific goals. This especially interesting that this game world is procedurally generated, creating a unique layout each game. So each session have unique sounds, basically. This is my favorite part. Nice chicken. Okay. And my idea was to show, to demonstrate you how huge could be the difference if we change the atmosphere or add the music to this game. my taste, it dramatically changed the feeling. Another example is with as a test is created with natural atmosphere and natural sounds. As you can see, the feeling is totally different, and the natural sounds doesn't fit the picture and the world the people created. So now let's go back to the main topic of my lecture. Usually, every sound project consists of three main parts: preparation part, the main part, where the audio contents for the game is created, and the final part with tuning, tweaking, and iterations if necessary. My friend Ari told you a bit about it, but I want to go a bit deeply and tell you some, and I want to be useful for you and tell you some tips, maybe, which could help to organize the project correctly. So all three parts are very important, but let's talk about the preparation part first. I think it to be most important for several reasons. First of all, painful preparation saves a lot of time for both audio and team and the developer, allowing both to make the necessary sound effects during the first pass, without further tedious rework on the initiative of the customer. At this stage, it is very important to establish a good communication between the customer and the audio team, to ask all questions about the provided information and correlate it with the list of sounds without which we cannot produce solid sound design. In my experience, usually the assets list is created initially by a game designer's team and then improved by me. I think it's absolutely normal practice when working on a list from the both sides. This list should contain all the wishes and requirements of both parties, and the more experience both parties have, the more detailed and convenient and understandable document will appear. This list should be well structured to easy working with it. Each position for each sound of music should have clear description or what exactly is expected on sound and which purpose it's being created for. It's also nice if in addition to that there is a link to the video file containing the event with the obligatory indication of the timecode. Also a nice tip would be to tag the status, marking events with different colors in any convenient manner. This list of sounds is the standing point of clear communication process. This will, with its help, it will be clear to all what progress has been made and what remains to be done. And a good producer always appreciates this contribution to the systematization of the work on the project. But it becomes especially important on the large projects such as Alien Nation. Even if team will modify its team, this list will help new people to quickly grasp and understand what's happening and can continue the work. I have two examples of bad and good asset lists to demonstrate what I just talked about. This is the poor and small example, but it shows that after for example, I'm getting this sound list, I will ask a lot of information to the game designers team because it's unclear what kind of music it should be. For example, here is no references, and the weapon sounds is also what kind of weapon is this, and what the sounds, what type of sound effects is this? Loop, is this loop or one shot? And many other. So good asset list is look totally different. And as you can see here, here are the using a color map, yes, with green colors to nicely indicate what's happening. And here is a nice description to the most assets we have. And also here is video references names with time code, because if you want to save time, it will nice to have a time code to better and faster sync it to in the project. What other materials does the customer need to provide, especially if work with him or her is the first time? In my practice, I always ask to explain the concept of the game in any form they wish, whether it's a document or a video captured from the game or even a rough working game prototype. But I can only take the video files into the workflow because video provides a better sync between animation and sound effects. On the concept, I can get only the first impression about the project and start thinking about the music, basically. Now we are approaching the main production stage. The main objective here is to create all necessary assets according to the asset list, adding clarifying remarks that are related to the work, request additional video materials if necessary. However, there are two issues that require special attention: define the SFX style and find musical solutions. Both of them require good understanding of the game concept, but in my opinion, big game titles gives you less freedom to define the style of music and sound effects compared to indie developers. I think that indie developers are close to discovering something new in the game industry and are best at creating unique gaming and user experience. They are free and open to experiment with different art of gameplay models in comparison to the major studios. This is exactly the reason why they interested for me personally. Here is an example of unusual indie project I was working with. It's called Leviathan. Leviathan project is published last year on the Steam platform in the genre of adventure, quest, visual novel with a touch of mysticism a bit. Branched storyline, lots of dialogues, and interesting art. I like it right from the start when I saw the concept and talked with Andrei Knyazhev. He is the general producer, founder, and ideological developer of this project. I was particularly surprised that compared to a smaller developers team, about 4 writers worked on the script here, and they came up with the details on the whole world with his characters, rules, and history. This inspired me to write the music for them. I wrote several tracks with different mood for fight, calm, and also the intro. Quite funny art. And they didn't talk. It's a way to communication via subtitles. Now let's go to the action, finally. Okay, I think it's enough. Searching for music always stands out in the process of working on sounds and games. I would suggest that any developer should think about finding music solution as early as generally possible. I recommend it from my own experience. It's especially important. Do not delay finding the music when you plan to buy ready-made tracks, and especially from well-known artists. Negotiation on licensing can be delayed indefinitely and slow down the process significantly. Unusually, inexperienced producers start working with the music too late, and those two factors together usually lead either to overrun the overall budget allocated to the purchase of music, or it ends up in not being able to purchase the tracks that were originally decided upon. As a result, the sound design of the entire game suffers. You may also want to think well in advance what music to buy to use in commercials, trailers for the game. This will save all the developers quite a few nerve cells in the future. Now we are close to the most interesting part, how to deal with the game soundtrack. The easiest way is to delegate all the work on the soundtrack with a sound team. This is a question of trust, but if sound team is experienced enough, then it's a good option to get real good results. Firstly, because it establishes an atmosphere of trust. Secondly, because this approach allows the audio team to bring their vision to the project and improve overall sound feedback. Another way to negotiate about game soundtrack is to find references. Both sides are looking for the music they like. Then they place it into the game and then discuss the results. One of my favorite parts of the whole process is working on sound design for game trailers. I like that the result can be assessed immediately, rather than waiting until all of the created sounds are integrated into the game. But here are also a few common difficulties. When I first started doing it, I took the video into the work as soon as possible. It seems to me that I would then have more time to create better sound. In a sense, it would happen. I could spend more time paying attention to details on the balance of mixing and etc. But other side of it was the haste a large number of iterations. As a result, I spent 3 or even 4 times more more than I planned. During the process of gaining experience, I have developed a few simple rules for myself. Here they are. Choose or write music before cutting the trailer. This will allow the editor to sync music accents precisely with video events and cuts it in the future. And do not start working on the trailer sounds until the final edit. If the trailer is long and complicated, it's really painful to move a bunch of sounds to the new place and redraw the automation curves. But even you follow those rules, flash in the pan could still happen. Suddenly, customer decides to re-edit the trailer exactly when you just leaned back and relax without dedicating your extra time to the job. That's when you start crunching like a monkey just to score this job in time. This happened to me last time I was working on Alienation trailer sounds for Housemarque. What? Okay. And at some point, they have re-edited the trailer about 3 or 4 times, and at some point, iterating the sound for next new version, my eyes and fingers started to burn, and touching mouse buttons became really painful. I made the print screen of the working desktop and attached it to the trailer, to the letter, sorry, asking the guys to stop reworking of the cuts, and my prayers have been heard. Here is that print screen that almost saves me. Wait a second, I will try to enlarge this. It's not clear view here, but totally it's about more than 50 tracks totally with automation curves and a lot of sounds. Even the trailer is only 1 minute long. We have a lot of different sounds inside of it. So it was really painful to move, from example, if they cut the ending part and move it to the forward. And here I want to show you the results for this trailer. Here it is. The final version was with music, but this is only the sound effects. As Ari just said before me, the final stage of work is tweaking the sounds in the game, and to bring it to the final quality, it takes a lot of time because all the sounds need not only to be created, but they also some of them have RTPC curves attached to some of game parameters such as speed or angles or others. So all this should function well, and it takes time to debug all the problems. If something is malfunctioning, a detailed bug report should be created. This is the most interesting. This is not the most interesting and fairly routine part of the job, but it creates the most positive results and joy when you're it's almost the end. This is not the most interesting and fairly routine part of the job, but it creates the most positive result and joy when you are convinced that everything is work as it should, as you expect. The happiest thing for me can be a positive feedback from players and critics after release of the game. In conclusion, I would to say that all those small tips and advices I gave you are based on my personal experience, and my hope if they will help you to avoid wasting time and help producers team accurately plan and carry out milestones right on time. Sound is a crucial part of any game. It aids in telling us things, inform us, and sets the mood. So do not save money on sound production. It's more than worth it. This is it. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Alexander. Unfortunately, we don't have enough time for the questions, so you can catch him somewhere in the corridor, and talk